Welcome to the YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub, your one-stop solution for expert guidance, best practices, and actionable knowledge in the world of contact centers. Explore, learn, and enhance contact center skills. Let's map the cross-metric correlation of bill to pay in a contact center. Let's look at how bill to pay correlates with other key operational metrics, starting with average handle time, or AHT. When AHT increases, agents spend more wage hours per contact. This means the denominator of the bill to pay ratio goes up, because you're paying for more labor time to handle the same number of billable units. As a result, the ratio weakens and profitability gets tighter. On the other hand, when AHT is reduced, and this is important, without compromising quality, you're able to spread the same wage cost across more billable contacts. This drives better labor efficiency, strengthens the denominator, and improves the bill-to-pay ratio. That's why AHT isn't just an operational KPI, it's a financial performance lever. Smart AHT management directly impacts cost structure, profitability, and margin resilience. Let's now look at how shrinkage impacts the bill-to-pay ratio. When shrinkage is high, whether it's due to absenteeism, excessive breaks, or long training sessions, the cost per productive hour increases. You're still paying the same wages, but delivering fewer billable hours. This weakens the denominator's efficiency and causes the bill-to-pay ratio to decline. On the other hand, effective shrinkage control, through strong scheduling, adherence, and workforce discipline, ensures more paid hours translate into billable output. This directly strengthens the bill-to-pay ratio and improves margin stability. Let's now talk about the correlation between bill to pay and occupancy or utilization. When occupancy is low, paid staff are underutilized, which means the cost per unit of output goes up. You're paying for hours that aren't fully productive, and that weakens the bill to pay ratio. When occupancy is optimal, wage hours are efficiently used, resulting in stronger productivity per dollar spent. This creates a healthier denominator and strengthens the ratio. But there's another side, over-occupancy. When agents are pushed too hard for too long, it leads to burnout, higher attrition, and increased long-term costs. That can erode the ratio over time. The goal isn't maximum occupancy, it's optimal occupancy. A balanced utilization strategy delivers strong financial performance without compromising workforce stability. Let's look at how attrition affects the bill-to-pay ratio. When attrition is high, the organization is caught in a cycle of constant rehiring and retraining. Every replacement comes with additional costs, onboarding, training, and ramped up, which raise the effective pay cost per productive hour. As a result, the bill-to-pay ratio weakens over time. On the other hand, a stable workforce brings predictable pay spending and stronger operational consistency. This stability helps protect and improve the ratio, while also supporting service quality. In short, controlling attrition isn't just an HR priority, it's a financial performance lever with direct impact on bill-to-pay. Let's examine how service level and SLA compliance correlate with the bill-to-pay ratio. When SLA targets are missed, it often leads to financial penalties or billing deductions, which directly reduce the numerator of the ratio. Even if labor costs stay the same, revenue shrinks, and the bill-to-pay ratio declines. On the other hand, when SLA performance is consistently strong, billing remains stable and, in many cases, can even be enhanced through performance incentives built into the contract. This helps protect and strengthen the ratio over time. That's why SLA compliance isn't just an operational metric, it's a commercial safeguard that directly supports financial health. Let's examine how AI and automation rates correlate with the bill-to-pay ratio. When automation increases, fewer full-time employee wage hours are required. This lowers the denominator, improving cost efficiency and potentially strengthening the ratio. But there's a catch. If the commercial model is based on per contact or permanent billing, increased automation can actually reduce billable volume. This shrinks the numerator and can offset or even reverse the financial gains. That's why automation strategy must be carefully aligned with the pricing model. When executed correctly, automation becomes a powerful lever to improve bill to pay. When misaligned, it can unintentionally erode revenue. Let's look at how AI resolution rate correlates with the bill to pay ratio. When AI resolution is high, more routine or repetitive tasks are handled without agent intervention. This means fewer paid hours are needed, which lowers the denominator and strengthens the bill-to-pay ratio. It's one of the most powerful ways to create labor efficiency without sacrificing service quality. But there's an important caution. If the commercial model is based on per-contact billing, then higher automation can reduce billable units. Without pricing adjustments to account for AI-handled interactions, the numerator may shrink, offsetting the cost savings. In short, high AI resolution improves cost structure, but to truly protect the ratio, it must be aligned with pricing models. This ensures that automation boosts both efficiency and financial performance. Let's now examine how first contact resolution, or FCR, correlates with the bill-to-pay ratio. When FCR is low, customers reach out multiple times to resolve the same issue. This leads to more wage spent for the same amount of revenue, since each repeat contact consumes additional labor hours. As a result, the bill-to-pay ratio weakens. When FCR is high, issues are resolved in the first interaction, requiring fewer wage hours per resolved case. This increases labor efficiency and strengthens the ratio without needing to raise billing rates. FCR isn't just a customer experience metric, it's a direct financial lever that impacts both operational efficiency and bill-to-pay performance. Let's talk about the indirect impact of CSAT and NPS on the bill-to-pay ratio. While customer satisfaction doesn't directly change labor cost, it shapes the revenue side of the equation over time. When CSAT and NPS are high, client relationships are stronger. This leads to contract renewals, upsell opportunities, and sometimes even premium billing rates. All of this helps protect and grow the numerator of the bill-to-pay ratio. But when CSAT and NPS are low, the opposite happens. Clients may renegotiate rates, impose penalties, or in some cases, even churn. This reduces revenue, weakens the numerator, and erodes the ratio over time. White pointing backhand index in short, strong CSAT and NPS scores act as a protective shield for the bill-to-pay ratio, keeping revenue stable while enabling future growth. Let's look at how cost to serve correlates with the bill-to-pay ratio. While bill-to-pay isolates only direct labor costs, cost to serve goes a step further. It includes overheads, infrastructure, technology, and other support costs. In essence, cost to serve gives a fuller picture of total operational expenses. A healthy bill-to-pay ratio is the foundation for a sustainable cost to serve. If the labor economics aren't sound, even the most efficient overhead structure can't compensate. Strong bill-to-pay performance gives the financial breathing room to manage these additional layers of cost. In short, bill-to-pay is the first line of defense for profitability, and cost to serve builds on top of it to define the true commercial viability of a contract. Let's look at how cost to serve correlates with the bill-to-pay ratio. While bill-to-pay isolates only direct labor costs, cost to serve goes a step further. It includes overheads, infrastructure, technology, and other support costs. In essence, cost to serve gives a fuller picture of total operational expenses. A healthy bill to pay ratio is the foundation for a sustainable cost to serve. If the labor economics aren't sound, even the most efficient overhead structure can't compensate. Strong bill to pay performance gives the financial breathing room to manage these additional layers of cost. In short, bill to pay is the first line of defense for profitability, and cost to serve builds on top of it to define the true commercial viability of a contract. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you in the next video.